chaque samedi, et pour le faire 3 heures, nous allons parler à l'émission. On nous parler sur antenne. On nous parler, il y a une émission de débat, de commentaires, de tout ça qui fait sujet de l'actualité, dans sur le plan politique, social, culturel et religieux. La première émission, acteurs politiques, membres gouvernement, ministres, parlementaires, politiciens, directeurs, institutions, membres bureaux, avec commentateurs et analystes, pour faire analyse avec nous et commentaires de tout ça qui a fait, tout ça qui a fait. Permettre que nous comprenions plus bien, côté nier, ça qu'a fait et ça dit, est-ce que vous dit avantage nous ou bien non désavantage nous. Chaque samedi, 3h, 5h de l'après-midi, un seul rendez-vous en nous parler sur antenne. Toutes les reprises, chaque dimanche, 8h, visionnage.
L'avion après le décoller, est-ce que vous parlez? Est-ce que ticket ou acheté pour aller checker? Et au bail dernier signal pour embarquer. Est-ce que rempli conditions pour être pour l'entrée? Est-ce que c'est petit puisse là, oui? Est-ce que pas tout le temps va mélanger? Est-ce que c'est vrai ou t'es guettant changé? Eh bien, ou prête pour voyager? Est-ce que c'est vrai ou t'es aimé, bon Dieu? Est-ce que pas ta vie, j'en cœur t'es blé? Est-ce que c'est amis la vérité? Eh bien, ou prête pour voyager? Chargé pour l'aller, pour voler. Si la yo qui pas paré, yo tout arrêté. Capitaine n'a guettant à bord.
On nous parle.
Tout bagaille checké. Équipage la bras monté. Et puis démonstration pour attacher. Dans l'église, c'est bon, t'es qu'on le chauffer. Faut pas de jambes côté message là que parler. Mais si on pas de jambes, faut jambes pour changer. Eh bien, on va pas voyager. Faut même chrétien qu'entrer dans l'église. Peut-être avantage ou derrière prestige. Si c'est pas rien sérieux, t'as réglé. Eh bien, on va pas voyager. Avion après les voler, ak moun qui sauvé. Ça pas dit tout pas j'en péché, mais au guetant lavé. Moi pas con qui destination, les bras les poser. Même connaissez que Jésus, c'est là que nous parlons. Est-ce que vous fait la paix avec mon Dieu? Qui veut dire est-ce que tu as changé? Est-ce que vous ces amis là?
Bonsoir tout le monde. Moi content d'être pour opportunité ça. Bon Dieu, Baman. Comme capable là pour me présenter une émission que vous aimez en pilant. Émission qui est liée à nous parler sur le 89 français de Saunders digital. Salut les amis de loin et de près. Un peu de monde qui peut suivre nous là dans le pays, c'est pas Borisite. Un peu de monde qui est à l'étranger. Je dis à vous faire connaître que l'émission sur émission surchargée. Alors, la difficile pour me capable venir avec rubrique aujourd'hui. Hein. Eh bien, on a fait un petit mété rubrique à côté aujourd'hui. Hein. Et que le fait que nous chargons aujourd'hui dans l'émission, nous pas qu'à saluer, eh bien, tout le monde, j'en nous habitué à faire. Alors, donc on a les zones par zone, pays par pays. Eh bien, je dis à nous saluer tout le monde globalement. À la ronde madère, pour tout haïtien qui compte ça veut dire. Salut tout le monde, quelque chose à côté. Merci à pile parce que je choisis au Pédou 89% FM stéréo digital. Alors, premier intervenant nous aujourd'hui, premier invité nous, c'est ancien député primaire là, ancien ministre finance là, honorable Saunders, lui qui est déjà là, c'est lui qui va parler avec nous. Et puis dans la deuxième série, soit à 4h, nous allons recevoir équipe dans Gender Affair. C'est eux qui parlent là pour parler avec nous de domestic violence. Alors, je sais sur l'émission tête chargée, sur l'émission jour, émission justement à Creux. Alors, on dit rivière, la descend à Creux. Ça veut dire la rivière Creux, ça veut dire les faire descendre, les gains carabinaille, les gains force, les gains énergie. C'est même bagaille là, je dis, émission à Creux, je dis là. Marie ceinture ou bien non, passer ceinture. Et puis on est marié. Merci tout le monde parce que nous avons choisi un prénom de FM. C'est vrai. So good afternoon to you, brothers and sisters, listeners of Hope Radio. Folks out there, how you all doing today? I just believe that all is well with you and your family. It is my pleasure once again to meet you. I know all is well, but this is this is the time that we always met together, so to discuss issues, what is going on here and around the world. So I salute you and I thank you for your time. This afternoon, I would like to acknowledge our governors, our premiers, our ministers, our deputy premiers. We know they're always listening. And also our MPs, good afternoon. Good afternoon to our teachers, our nurses. I would like to acknowledge also our police officers from the high rank to the last grade. Good afternoon to you guys. Thank you very much, our police officers, for being brave. To tackle, those criminals on the streets. And we know we have a lot to talk about that because I have with me the former deputy premier, the former minister of finance, the honorable Saunders. I will, ask him some questions. What do you think about, what is going on at this time in our country? And it is important to have these authorities, these people, the people. You get that? The people. You get that? I know you understand that, right? So this is why then I'm trying every best that I could to have all the authorities to come on the radio. I will send the invitation also to the governor, Excellency Denali, and I will try also to get the premier. I know also the leader of the opposition. We need to know what they are thinking or what they have in mind to do to resolve this problem. This is very big. Okay, so this afternoon I would like also to acknowledge our firefighters, guys. Thank you for the great service to the people of this country. I know the firefighters, they always be at risk, but they're always on time. Yeah. And the doctors, the nurses, good afternoon to you. Our teachers, good afternoon. If you are passing by to this country as a visitor, I would like to welcome you all once again on behalf of the government and also the beautiful, sweet people of this country. Welcome. Enjoy your stay here. If you are, coming back, maybe a return visitor, or if this is your first time, man, you will enjoy it. Okay, got some seafood. Enjoy your stay here, and we hope that when you go, you send friends to visit this beautiful by nature Turks and Caicos Islands. All right. So again, those of you probably driving at home, your office, listening, stay there. We'll be back.
Est-ce qu'on a fait la paix avec mon Dieu? Qui veut dire est-ce qu'on t'a changé? Est-ce que vous ses amis la vérité? Sinon haïtien qui a écouté. Et toute la vie où t'es mal marché. Pour que chance pour sauver à travers le feu. Mandez bon Dieu pour le pardonner. Oh, même qui n'a Jésus.
All right. Once again, I salute you, and I'm so pleased to be here. And I know many of you who are locked in would like to know what the former leader have to say today. And, you know, I will ask him some questions about the upcoming election, about, you know, perspective and things like that, and also about the country situation. So, yeah, if you do have questions, make sure you get it ready. I will give you maybe a few minutes before we conclude today to ask questions. So make sure you get your question ready to ask. It is my pleasure, Honorable DJ Saunders. I would like to remind everybody you are a former Deputy Premier, former Minister of Finance, former Minister of Health. So we have you this afternoon, and I know we'll have a good discussion. Good afternoon to you, sir, and welcome to the show. Go ahead.
Let me apologize for my voice. It's a little sore. I was in the House of Assembly earlier this week for a number of days looking at the supplementary budget. But before I start, I have a number of persons who want to listen in, and they're asking me if the for the Facebook link or the streaming link. I don't know if you can just give it to me or just say it overnight, and I can pass it to them pretty quickly. Or maybe you could send it to me.
Okay.
Through WhatsApp, and then I could share it.
Okay.
But thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here. The last time I was here was a number of years ago.
Yes, sir.
And this is my first time in the new radio station.
Yes,
and it's
sir.
very beautiful and it's of a high quality. So thank you again for having me here.
Thank you, Deputy Leader. The former Deputy Leader, I should say, but hey, that is hard to get out from my mind right now. But I'm trying. I'm going to work it out. Alors, nous gagnons ancien Deputy Premier. Alors, qu'on est que ça qui est passé, me raconté nous pas là-dedans. Et lui-même qui était ministre Finance, qui est avec nous, il dit que il était venu à Radio Allet nous en bas, mais l'entrée dans le studio, ça, il voit son bel studio. Il est vraiment content, il dit Radio a senti bon, Radio a belle, et il dit il est bien content pour le cas là, et puis tout, il tout demandé un link pour faire et live Facebook là, la pas le balai. All right. Honorable Saunders, I know as a former Minister of Finance, I know you're ready to answer any question, and also former Deputy Premier. Member of the Parliament, so I know you're open for any question, right?
I want you to ask me all of the questions that are important to you.
Okay.
In life, we may not agree on everything, but I want us to be able to be honest with each other and have an open and honest, frank conversation.
Okay.
Nothing. I don't see any of these things as being, attacking anyone, anything like that. I think once we get to understand each other, we would be in a much better place. So feel free to ask me any questions. If your listeners are able to call in or text in or whatever, if it's a show that you get questions from the media, the audience, sorry, I'll be happy to even take their questions. Whatever their questions are, I'll give it my best shot to try to answer them as openly and as honestly as possible.
Ok. Moi, je demande, honorable, est-ce que je peux demander n'importe question, parce que la proposition était occupée, avec mon litier, il dit que il voulait me poser toutes les questions que je voulais poser. Il y a un problème, il y a un dialogue qui franc, et il dit que si moun kap koute yo tout vle relé, moun kap koute yo tout vle voyer question yo par texte message, là bien content pour le répondre yo et correctement c'est ça. During your time as a Minister of Finance, Honorable, can you tell the audience how did you balance the country economy?
The way we try to do is I try to, first of all, focus on the most important things. Before I came into to government, the government had done a survey with the people and find out what the country wanted. It was called the Vision 2040 document that they put in all of the priorities of the country in that document. When I came in, there was a disconnect because the document had not been officially launched. But what happened is that in that document is what the people of the Turks and Caicos said they wanted the country to achieve between the year 2020 and the year 2040, so the 20-year document.
Okay.
And so what I did is that I tried to get that document. We did it, eventually did it. That document tied in with the budget document. So everything the government did in the budget tied back to what the country, what the people of the country wanted to achieve. That's very important because every time a dollar is spent every year, we know that it's a high chance it's going to go back and achieve the things that the country said wants to achieve. So if the country said that we want to achieve the best airport in the region, we know that every budget we were seeking to try to give that objective. Or we say that the country said that we want the best education. We know that every dollar that was spent was tied back to the education wishes of the country. So that's the most important thing that I did from the budget point of view. And then we were trying to ensure that every minister and ministry that have their objectives in the budget, that there was money for them to be able to achieve that. And the country is growing very quickly, so money was not the problem. It was just them being able to deliver what they wanted in the budget. And so my job as Minister of Finance was to try and make it as easy as possible for them to achieve those things for the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands.
And you think you deliver to the people?
I think that we delivered a lot. I wouldn't say that we delivered everything. And one, because I have very high standards for myself, and I never go back and pat myself on the shoulder and say, yes, we delivered. I don't think we delivered everything we wanted to deliver. I think as a government, we delivered more than previous governments.
Okay.
But that's not our standard. Our standard should always be to deliver the most for the people as possible. I don't think we did that. I think there are challenges, the way government operates, and we face those challenges, but we delivered a lot. But I think I would like for us to be able to do a lot more, and I would like when we get the next term, when we are voted in again in the next term, that we are able to deliver more over the next term than we were able to deliver this year, but this term. But I think we did a pretty good job this term.
What were the biggest financial challenges you faced as a Minister of Finance?
The absolute biggest challenge was getting the money spent. Because every year we would end the year with lots of money left over. Part of that was because we were making more money, or we are making more money than we budgeted. But the main reason is that we were underspending. We would say, okay, we were going to build Millennium Highway, but end the year and Millennium Highway didn't get built. Or we'd say we would do something with education or health or something like that, or with the docks or something like that. And every year we'd be ending with things with money unspent. And so they would go back and we would realize that, wait a minute, we wanted to spend $30 million in capital projects, and we only spent $20 million. Sorry, only $10 million in capital projects, and we have $10 million left, $20 million left over. And so our biggest challenge was getting the money spent. And that's still the big challenge, is that we're always going into the budget with this huge ambition that we want to do all of these things for the Turks and Caicos, but we can't get all of those things delivered for the people during the year. So what we need to do right now is move all of the obstacles that stops us from being able to achieve during the financial year, the things that we say we want to achieve at the beginning of the financial year.
Oh, yes. I was going to ask you what were the obstacles, but you said the government is trying to move these obstacles. But can you name few of them?
Well, everyone talks.
I mean, to my understanding, if the money is available to spend for in some projects, right? So I don't see no reason for the money to stay in without get this project completed.
Well, everyone likes to point to the procurement ordinance and the procurement process. Part of the reason is that is probably that. Here is where the issue is that in 2009, the country was broke, didn't have any money. And the country had to borrow $200 million. And the UK government was the government of the Turks and Caicos. It was the interim government. And so what they did was they said, we do not want the British taxpayers, the UK taxpayers, to have to pay this $200 million. We want the Turks and Caicos to pay it all. And what we're going to do is we're going to put in rules and regulations that we call the framework that make sure that Turks and Caicos doesn't spend money that they don't have to spend. They only can spend money that are completely necessary.
Yes.
And all of the money that they go is to pay off the $200 million loan. So everything that was put in place, all of the checks and balances was, if you want to buy a bottle of water, they're going to go, are you sure you need that bottle of water? Are you sure people are thirsty? Can you do something else without having to buy that bottle of water? And only when you really, really need to buy that bottle of water, we will let you buy. And so all of the frameworks was designed to stop you from spending money, with all of the checks and balances. Now, that was 2012. In 2024, the country is making a lot of money. The country has a lot of cash. But we are still operating under rules that says, do not spend money unless you absolutely have to spend money. So that's one thing. So we have to change the rules that says, let's make it easier to use the money now for the people of the Turks and Caicos. That's one thing. Now, the procurement process, as I said, is very difficult and challenging because it's designed to make sure that you have to think through every single thing. It's not designed for you to make a decision quickly. And so now the people who have to ask to go through the procurement process, it's good. A lot of them don't know it very well. And so because it requires so much work. And so we need to get better at that procurement process. But we also need to reduce the requirements in the procurement process. And we need to change our thinking. Because a lot of the people who are the gatekeepers, the people who are making the decisions, are people from the 2012 era who are thinking of the Turks and Caicos on those days when things are going badly. And so the example I can use is that I'm going to use Haiti because your audience is Haiti. The Haiti of today was not Haiti in 2007 and 2008. The Haiti of today, or the Port-au-Prince of today, is different from what it was 10 years ago. Okay? And so, and it will be different from the Haiti, Port-au-Prince, than it will be 10 years into the future. Yes. And you may get to a point where the government is sorted out and everything is great. But imagine 10 years from now when everything has been fixed, you still have foreign soldiers in Port-au-Prince. And you'd be saying, they're treating us in 2034 as when things, in 2024 when we didn't have a government, but everything is okay now. And so it's going to cause a frustration. So the answer today, your solution today, will not be a solution in 10 years, but everything is fixed. And so we need a transition out of the 2012 Constitution when we're in 2024. We need a transition away from that now and make it easier for elected government, the elected government. And I'm stressing the elected government, the government that's voted by the people. We need to come in with a transition where the elected government is allowed to make decisions. Because when I go and campaign and people say, I want this and I want that, when I get into cabinet, I need to be able to deliver it for the people and not go there and having to deal with people who are saying, who are in cabinet are saying, well, I don't agree and the law doesn't allow you to do this, and this. When we should be able to have the freedom to deliver for the people as long as we're not engaging in corruption. Right. Elected government should be allowed to deliver for the people.
So if I understand clearly, your explanation, the government willing to do things, right? Willing to change the country, but because of some restriction, we cannot move forward. And I remember that not long ago, the PNP government went to the UK to speak about the same situation, the constitution. So where we are with that?
There was, I think, about 5 different constitutional matters that was agreed in principle.
Yes.
The conservative government had a lot of negotiations with this current government, our government, and they had 3 years of negotiations because we were in for 3 years and they were in for 3 years while we were there. But then
Right.
But then they had an election, and so a new government came in. The Labour government came into the UK, and I think the government had to basically bring them up to speed. I think that they agreed in principle. I've seen something being advertised that they're going to have public town hall meetings around the constitutional matters that the UK government agreed with in principle, and so that's happening. Going to happen like as of next week. So there's going to be some news that the cabinet and the premier will be bringing to the public. I can't speak to it because I haven't been there since February. I'm not in cabinet, as everyone knows that I'm not in cabinet, so I don't get access to those things. I will know when the cabinet and the premier speaks to the public next week about the news that he wants to speak. But if he is having town hall meetings, I believe it's good news, and so I think there are some things around the Constitution he will speak to next week.
What about some this? I know you mentioned earlier. I don't want to forget. That's why I am going to ask you this. When we consider the situation the people in Blue Hills have every morning, especially when school open. And I remember the Minister of Infrastructure spoken and said that they have money in the budget to have another road from Blue Hills bring the people to Q Town or maybe to Thompson Cove. And when you said that sometimes the money stay with the government without spending a penny from it, and when we consider every morning, I don't know if you ever come in Blue Hills in the morning to see how terrible is the traffic, and people who hear that now come from your mouth as a former Minister of Finance and say money always stay in the budget, money stay in the government account, and not spending a penny from it, and then we have this situation. What do you want them to say about it?
I will say again, it's certainly not the money. It's not a lack of money. And the Minister of PPID, the current Deputy Premier, could probably speak more to it. I don't like to speak to ministries. I believe, from what I heard, that they're trying to solve that problem, because I know that he spoke with Honorable Howell in my presence, and that they're doing some stuff on it. I don't want to go and say exactly what it is because I don't want to commit them to something. I know what he told Honorable Howell, and I believe that the Honorable Robinson could possibly speak to it. But I understand the problem. I drove into Blue Hills one morning, like 2 years ago, to go to the high school when people were coming out, and it was
Terrible.
crazy. It was terrible. And if you have to go to the airport to make a morning flight, I don't know how you'd be able to get through the traffic. Yeah. And then it gets even worse when there's traffic stops with the police or immigration there. It makes it even worse. And I believe that I know that the problem is not money. It may be part of the problem. May be engineering in terms of where does a new road goes, how are you going to make the road wider, where do you get the space from? Because if you widen the road, it has to go onto property and property rights and being able to have access to be able to purchase those properties where you can run the road through. But it's certainly not money. It's more on the engineering side and possibly the procurement side, trying to get the tender out to fix the road and being able to find persons who are able to do that. But I know that the government is aware of it. And it is treated as one of the priority items in terms of the Millennium Highway and the Blue Hills access. I will know that I spoke with Honorable Howell in terms of priority things to him, and he told me that if he could only get one thing fixed, he would certainly want that to be one of the priorities that he would like fixed. Okay. That's Honorable Randy Howell.
Yes. Okay. Next question now. As a former deputy premier, how did you balance your dual roles? Managing both financial and also border political challenges. How did you do that?
How did I balance it?
Yeah.
I always try to. For me, I always try to deliver as much as I can for the people. So that's the most important thing for me to do, is to deliver as much as I can for the people, but also make sure that there was money to cover it. Now, I didn't face any monetary challenges because we came into the country when the country was opening up after COVID. It was making a lot of money. But the balance is always making sure that you deliver the high priority things for the people. You don't you remove any burdens from the people. So it was important for me to make sure that we're able to do it without introducing any taxes. Not that we won't need any in the future.
Yes.
But for me, I would rather push off taxes as far as possible until we desperately need it. So the balance for me was always starting off with what's the most important things for the people, and finding the money for it. But like I said, I didn't face any monetary challenges. Okay. The challenges that I faced was more challenges with the framework and the rules that we had to operate in, and with that I tried to kick open as many doors as possible, push open as many doors. But that's what the challenge is. But I didn't have to be balancing the money with the things that we wanted to do was not a challenge. We were blessed, and we're still very blessed by God to be doing very well. So that was not one of the challenges. But the main challenges was actually getting the important things done.
Okay. Now, are you personally satisfied with the government how can I put it? Let me make it clear. I would like to know, what do you think? Do you think these government are done enough to make the people of this country happy, or they could do more? Because at the end of the day, I'm in the street. I am a guy where people call all the time, and I heard a lot of complaining. So, do you think your government done enough, or the government should be better?
I know I was asked a similar question on a show, and when I answered it, I came off and someone was saying to me, "Oh, well, you should not have said it. You should have said that the government, go down the government's resume and highlight all of the things the government did." The truth of the matter is that it's all perspective. It's all where you're looking at it, and this is what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the man on the street, but let me stop there and say this: we won 14-1. We won 14-1.
Mm-hmm. You have a solid government.
We have a solid government. And on paper, I believe that this government is probably the most qualified government in the history of the Turks and Caicos, in terms of persons with degrees, in terms of persons with business experience, not just working in businesses, but owning their own businesses. Mm-hmm. So we should be, if you were baseball, we should be hitting home runs. If it's soccer, we should be scoring goals just like this.
Yes.
We should be scoring goals rapidly. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter whether we go in and we win 1-0. We have a team that can win 10-0. We have a team on paper that can win 15-0 in soccer. Yep. So I'm using soccer term. Mm-hmm. So we should be over-delivering, with our potential. So the question is, are we living up to our potential? I don't think that we're living up to our potential. Now, it's not because of the lack of trying. Because why I say it's a matter of perspective is that if the man on the street would say they're not living up to their potential because they're a very talented team. Mm-hmm. And then again, if you're using soccer and you have this great team,
this is
this great team, you're best team, they said, and you're a common soccer, and you didn't win the World Cup, and people were like, this is the best team ever, and you should be winning the World Cup, and you didn't win the World Cup. And what happened? Now the other side of it is that you've got that same team in cabinet, you have that same team in the House of Assembly who look at all of the challenges and go, I'm trying my best, and I can't deliver. Mm-hmm. And I use the term getting farther, faster. Mm-hmm. We don't want to just get there. We want to get there within 4 years. We want to get there within one term. And I don't think we did that as much as our talented team should have done it. But that's not because the team wasn't trying. It's just that the rules that we're operating in. So if I was talking to my team privately, I would say, guys, we should be doing better than this.
Yeah, this is not a good performance.
This is not the best we can do. Mm-hmm. Okay. On the other side of it, yes, compared to previous governments, compared to the last government, I can go into the House of Assembly, I can defend it, I can say we did this, and we did that. But when you look at how talented the team is on paper, we should be delivering championship after championship after championship after championship. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't know if you remember basketball. But when LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh went to Miami, Dwayne Wade was already in Miami. He said, we're not going to win 1 championship, or 2 championships, or 3 championships. It was like we're going to win championship after championship. And when they left, he had probably had 2 championships. And so no one is going to say that they lived to their full potential. They won 2 championships, so they didn't fail, but they certainly didn't achieve what their team should have achieved. And so do I believe that we've achieved what we were talented enough to do? No. Do I think that we achieved better than the previous team and the team that's competing against us? Yes. Do I think we are better than the team that's coming up, that's competing with us? Yes. But when you look at competing with ourselves and what we should be able to deliver, no, I don't think we delivered that.
So you believe that the people will give this government another term? You think so?
I think they should give us another term too. I don't think out of pity. I don't think they go, oh my goodness, we didn't deliver, so give us another term. I think we're the best team. I think we're the best team out there, and I think we're better than the alternative. And I'm not knocking the alternative. I think we're the best team.
No. You're not knocking everybody, because if I had the Honorable Astrid over there, he was going to say the same thing. He's the best team.
Yeah, I think we're the best team.
That's politics.
Yeah, and I'm not putting them down. I think that we are the best team, and I think that we will deliver more than them even if they were in government. The problem I said is that I think the public wants us to deliver more.
Yeah. Honorable Saunders, talking about best team, what did your government ever did for the small businesses? Like myself, I'm a small businessman. I don't think I ever have any support, any firm, not support directly to me, but any firm support for the small businesses. All the advantage go to the big businessman, but the small business, they are collapsing. Nobody say anything. We get before you went on, we get bank interest that has gone up, and nobody say anything. The bank changed the rate, the interest time to time, even though New York Prime is still the same here, and our bank and Turks, they keep on changing the rate, and nobody say nothing. And you were actually also the Minister of Finance. I thought when you got that position, I was so happy. I said, all right, then we're going to have a break because I know you know the numbers.
Yeah,
but I never heard you say anything about it.
Well, I'll say this, but thank you for that. When we came in, the MSME program, the program that really a lot of local businesses benefit from, they can go and get free money. They were getting a maximum of $10,000. By the time we were done, you're getting a maximum of $30,000. The category of businesses that would qualify for the $10,000 has been expanded, so more businesses could qualify for the money. So more businesses are qualifying for $30,000. And as I said a few times, the MSME program had a budget before I came into government, and their budget was $750,000, and they never spent all of it. My last year as Minister of Finance, they spent more than $1 million. We had to go back and give them more money. And so for the small businesses, we made money available for them. But not every business want to go to Invest TC and ask for money. You have businesses with other issues relating to the like what you said, the borrowing and everything like that.
Yeah.
Now, this is the first time I'm hearing about it, because no businesses had said, listen, we're having problems with the banks, and you seem to be very knowledgeable on it, and that our borrowing and our interest rates have gone up. No one has ever raised it with me. Yep. But I know they've raised issues in terms of access to credit, being able to borrow money, and we've spoken with the banks many times about making it easier for people to borrow money.
It is not so, sir.
And that looking into even possible partial loan guarantees. As I said a few times, the most important thing to me is this, and I said it on another show. If you want to create wealth, I don't just mean people making money to pay their bills. If you want to create wealth, it comes from entrepreneurship, people owning their own businesses. And I want to move Turks and Caicos Islanders to becoming entrepreneurs, owning their own business. Now, 50% of the population will not own their own business. It will be a lot less than that. But the more we can pull up that number, whether it's 10% or 25%, they will start to hire Turks and Caicos Islanders. And hopefully when they do better, they'll start to pay more money. And I'm talking about Turks and Caicos Islands businesses hiring other Turks and Caicos Islanders. And so we have to create and strengthen the ability for local businesses to do well in terms of making it easier for them to get soft loans, making it easier for them to get capital, making the laws easier for them to be able to grow. But like you said, even in terms of the bank, making it easier for when they deposit money into the bank gives them better interest. They're not giving them anything. And when they borrow money from the bank is giving them the most aggressive interest rates and not the highest interest rate. You should be paying 6%, or maybe not. You're not going to get 1% above prime, but maybe 6% instead of paying 9% or 10%, or having to go out and borrow money from other lenders at 15%. We have to make it easier for entrepreneurs in the country. And that was always my goal, is to create entrepreneurship. Turks and Caicos Islands business to go from surviving to thriving. Yeah.
But you understand also about the small entrepreneur here. Many of them are tried, they tried, but they failed because they didn't have no assistance from the government. They failed. I know some young people from this country, they started something, but they couldn't keep it, So this actually, I think if you get back to this portfolio, so if you get this portfolio back, and this is something you should look to.
I totally agree.
Because this is important. If you have a small businessman here that they don't find any assistance, any ways from the government to say, okay, you know what? Just like you mentioned, instead of 12%, the New York Times is not that. Why you charge over the New York Times? And why you go so much? And because they see that there's no control, the government don't control nothing. They just do whatever they want, and without no fares, because there's no policy in place to say, okay, if you go over, you charge people more, and this is the consequences. But there's no consequences. People doing this is the same thing for the market. This is the same thing for the business who's selling in foods and things and whatever it is. There's no price control at all. Everybody do their own thing.
I totally agree with you. The issue, one of the issues is this, that again, coming out of 2012, they made the changes. Politicians are just policymakers.
Yes.
And so when I say policymakers, politicians are only there to say now, oh, we want you to drink clean water.
Yeah.
But we're not allowed to go there and kick doors open and say, this is what we want, and this is how you're going to do it. And this is, and I tell people this all the time. I said, the Prime Minister of Barbados can go to the microphone at a rally and say, this is what my government is going to do. And it's going to happen. The Prime Minister of the Bahamas, the Prime Minister of Jamaica can do it. And those are independent countries, granted. I don't think, and our Premier may disagree with me, and sometimes he disagrees with me, but he's allowed to disagree with me. And I'm not saying he's allowed to disagree with me, but I don't think he's correct, to be honest. And I hope he allows us to agree to disagree. Because my view is different. And I've sat in the same room for 3 years with him, and he's been in that same cabinet more times than me. But I think I disagree with him on this. I don't think that the leader of the country, whether it's him or me or the previous Honorable Charlene or Rufus, can make policy at the microphone. We can't. And you go into cabinet and you have to negotiate, not just with your cabinet colleagues, but you have to negotiate with other people in cabinet. You have to negotiate with the AG and the DG and the governor, who are also members of cabinet. And if they don't agree with you and they don't see it with you, they can say, I don't agree with you. Now, most times they agree with you, but sometimes on some things they don't.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that their views are wrong. They may come and feel, and they're rightfully allowed to say, I have a completely different vision. But the truth of the matter is this: that is a non-elected person who is telling an elected person, I don't agree. I don't agree. And I know people will say, well, that's just how the rules are because we're a British colony. But while I accept that, it doesn't allow the elected government to deliver the things that they want to deliver 100% of the time. And I believe, and I've said it, even when Honorable Charlene was in, even when the PDMs was in, I'm saying it like that. I believe that as long as I am not doing anything illegal, I should be able to live and die by the vision that I've put forward to the country that elected me to be able to deliver for them.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
that's not how it works.
No, it doesn't happen like that. And then definitely, they will come doors to doors again, and time is coming where the candidates, the politician, going to go door to doors and promise the same thing that they promised of 4 years, that 4 years past. They will come and say we will do again. We will finish with that traffic and Blue Hills. Don't worry. This time we're going to do it. Listen, we're going to do the Dockyard Road. Listen, we're going to do this. Yeah, the small businessman, we get your back. This is the same words all the time, but no action, for people to see, especially me. I don't think I see any good action for the small businesses, for the people in Blue Hills. I don't see nothing going on. So I have to be fair. And even I'm not fighting with the government. I'm not fighting with nobody. I'm expressing myself. And, the people probably who are listening, they may not have access to, speak the way I speak. But, hey, this is it. Because we need to see our government stand and make sure whatever you promise happen. Because back home, we said that a politician should never lie. Because they will come back in a few times. So, if you promise something, you're not delivering anything, so you get trouble. But yeah,
I'm saying we're not. I believe we govern by a committee, and that committee is cabinet. And more often than not, we have consensus in cabinet. Let's say 50% of the time we have consensus in cabinet. Every time we have cabinet, 25% of the time we may have consensus in cabinet. That comes after more than one cabinet. They go back and have to come back. And then 25% of the time, you may have no consensus, that you just can't move things forward.
I know.
There is, I'm going to use Honorable Taylor as an example, who's a Minister of Education. She's an educator. She is an educator. Again, the only reason why I'm using her, because in our government, she's someone who's training is directly tied to her ministry. She's an educator. She is the expert in cabinet. When she goes and she says, this is what I want, other people can say, we tried it 10 years ago and it doesn't work. I don't think we should do that. But she is the expert. Okay? For different reason, my background is tech. If I go in there in cabinet, and I give my best advice. I give my absolute best advice. It shouldn't be, but I'm the expert. I'm the resident expert sitting in the room. It doesn't happen. There's successful businesses with huge budgets, way greater than the country's budget, way more people. And the person who gives the advice in the board meeting, the expert, they agree. And don't tell me it doesn't how government operates. If you have an expert giving advice, why wouldn't you take the expert's advice? That's what I just understand.
And sometimes you pay for it.
Yes.
You pay somewhere else. It is hard.
And that's the person who's elected. That's the person who goes out and says, I'm an expert on roads. I know the solution of how to fix the road issue in Blue Hills. Engineering, civil engineering is my expertise. Vote me in. I have the solution. And then you go in and they go, well.
This just a squeeze you. You can't move. You're not delivering. I got it. But this is very sweet, I can see you speak with all yourself. Okay, you leave nothing behind.
I don't.
People see that. Right?
I'm very authentic. I will tell you that. I'm very authentic.
People keep texting me here. I can tell you. They say that, let you talk. I don't stop him from talking here. But let me say this to you. Where do you find this courage? Because after what happened when, they moved the portfolio away from you.
They fired me.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't want to
you
use
can mix it. I mean, you have to mix it. I'm comfortable with it. They fine.
Sorry.
Yes, I'm comfortable
I'm
with
trying
it.
to make it very,
Yeah,
you know.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm not embarrassed by it. You know.
Thank you very much. When they take a portfolio away from you, and people were so disappointed, and I heard people, cursing, thinking, and speaking, and you take your time and sit down before the foot of a camera, and you ask the people of this island to calm down. Take it easy. It is fine. Where did you get discouraged?
Well, I mean, the thing about it is this.
I thought you was going to be met just like the people.
and some people cursed me out. I mean,
Because you're too polite.
And they're saying they actually said that and some people still say it. They say EJ is weak and EJ is this and he's that. The thing about it is this, and I've told a few people all of this. One couple of things came off the top. One, if there was an issue, the issue should have been between me and the premier. That's one. And people started making it about other people, outside of it, real close to the premier and stuff like that. And I didn't think that was right. You don't bring in someone's children and their wife and all those things into it. Doesn't matter whether people think it's justified. Let the issue remain between me and the premier. That's one. Two, for the record, I didn't think that the premier should have fired me. He knows that. Okay, and I don't. And so people, because a lot of people who say, "Oh, he didn't have another choice," doesn't know the full story. And I'm not going to go into the full story here, but I'd say for the record, I didn't think he should have fired me. Okay, and I still don't. Okay, and it's not a matter of something. Oh, what do you expect for him to do? He knows what happened. I know what happened. I don't think he should have fired me. I'll put that out there. I'm not shy about it. But it's his choice. It's his choice.
Yes.
And I'm not going to deny him of his choice. He could have come up any day and said, "This is what I want to do." I have to respect it. He selected me as his deputy. He selected me as the deputy premier. So it's his choice. I respect it. But three, and the most important thing is this. I tell people this all the time. "No, why don't you do this?" And you're soft. I'm not soft. I'm not trying to burn down the PNP or the Turks and Caicos. I'm trying to lead the country at some point. I don't need to burn it down.
Okay.
I'm not going to go there and bring him down, because when you do these things, you set a bad precedent. Okay? The premier removed me. That's his prerogative.
Yeah,
he asked me to be the chairman of the Appropriations Committee. I've done a good job as the chairman of the Appropriations Committee. But I have never been anywhere in my life. I'm telling you this, being honest. I have never been anywhere in my life and looked back and realized that God didn't put me where he wanted me to be at that time. You understand what I'm saying?
I got you.
Lots of times I've been places and I go, I don't like being here. And then 5 years later, I look back and think, if God didn't move me there at that time, I wouldn't be where I am right now. So God has always put me in places where he knows better than me, and he felt that I needed to be at that right time. And so I want to take care of the Turks and Caicos. And I'm going to end by saying this. Me as a person, I want to be the best of mankind. I want mankind to show our best, not our worst. And I tell people that all the time. I don't want to be the worst of mankind. I want to be one of the best of mankind. I want to love people. I don't want to fight people and pull people down. So if I'm down in the back bench for a couple of years, then I'm in the back bench for a couple of years. But when I get an opportunity, I will deliver for the people of the Turks and Caicos. And then they're going to look back and think, that was a terrible decision.
Yeah.
But I'm going to deliver when I get an opportunity. So if you put me on the bench, fine. But when I'm in the game, I'm going to play the best game that I played. And people are going to look back and say, we probably should have had him in the game earlier than sitting down. But if I have to sit down, I'll sit down. But I'm not going to burn the place down and break the place down. I will wait my time.
Oh my God! Hey, this is a good preaching. I love it. But now, you could choose to answer or not.
Yeah.
Are you going to challenge your leadership again?
Yes. I mean, the short answer is yes. And the thing about it is this: it was a very difficult decision because the premier was the sitting leader of the country, and the premier, and I know it. If there was a change, it probably would have been changed. It was been abrupt, and I can understand the position that he that he was in, and I've said this over and over to people. Like I said, the premier knows what happened, and one of the things is that and I'll say this much without going farther. In 2018, the leader of the opposition, who was the premier, said he wasn't running again, and then the party convinced him to run. And when the party convinced him to run, it was a motion brought on the floor of the convention to make him the leader. There are people who wanted me to run, and I said I'm not going to do it, and they brought a motion on the floor. So when people say, oh, EJ tried to sneak into the back door, it was something exactly that was done in 2019, where they said, you know what, we want the premier to run again. Let's bring a motion on the floor. The people who wanted to support me said, we're going to bring a motion on the floor. So nothing that was done at that point in time that had not been done before. The same play that was done. So nobody tried to sneak it in.
Yeah.
And so, but the important thing is this. The Constitution of the country says that you cannot be premier more than 2 terms. Okay, so I believe that we will win. I believe that the premier will win, and he will be on his 2nd term by the time the leadership convention come up again. So his name will not be in the race and the next time, because he cannot put his name in the race for leader next time.
Yeah,
this
according
according to the Constitution.
Yes.
So when it comes up again, it will be all new people. And yes, I am going to put my name up again. I don't have to be reluctant, because I'm not challenging a sitting leader who's in government at that point in time. And I've already know the things that I want to do for the country. As a matter of fact, I've got 90 priority things already listed that I want to do, 90, and I'm going to get it to 100. And I'm going to seek to achieve those 100 if I'm lucky enough and honored enough and blessed enough to lead the country to achieve those 100 things within the first term that I'm in office.
And I must tell you, PNP stand still because the way you handle that matter. I can tell you. Otherwise, for PNP was going to be piece by pieces.
Yeah, man, we had to do that, and I told people, and you hit the head, as we say, hit the nail on the head.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't want civil war in the party.
Yeah.
I told people it doesn't do us any good to have civil war in the party. You know, and there are members of the party who I still think, and I'll speak frankly, treat me a certain way. You know, feel like an outsider, and I'm not an outsider. I'm a part of the team. You know, but my view is that it doesn't help us to have civil war within the party. If you want your pound of flesh, take your pound of flesh. I am not going to create civil war, because it's, like I said, it creates a very bad precedent.
So before the last today, the audience, the people are listening to you now, because the voters, they are the one that gives power. You know, give power. They are the one that want to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to choose on EJ Saunders. I'm going to choose this. This is the government that I'm going to bring up. What do you want to tell them now?
I want people to know that I care about people. I truly care about people. Truly care about people. We're speaking mainly to a Haitian audience, but I'll be frank. Most people know me, would be outside of politics, would have known it from Digicel. And when they had the earthquake in Haiti, and everyone was trying to call home, and they couldn't get through, and they were calling different people who they knew to find out what was going on. I stayed in Digicel's office and just topped up people's phones while they're trying to call them.
Wow. Just
topped up people's phones. Free cash. Just topped them up.
Wow.
And as soon as we had an opportunity to go to Haiti, I went to Haiti. You know, and why? I wasn't running in politics. I wasn't doing it for votes. I did it because I cared about people, and I talked about it on a number of radio shows. You know, I lived in Port-de-Paix. I lived in Breeze Marina, and I watched the kids play soccer. And I can tell you how they played soccer with a milk crate on a very short field. And watch them, I said, wow, these kids are very good. But they didn't have a stamina because they weren't used to playing on the bigger field. I was in Cape Haitian. had an apartment in La Habitation, up on Montjoly. I've been to La Caille every day.
Wow.
And I mean, be honest. I mean, that's how come I knew Bookman La Experience. You know, I'd seen them in concert a number of times with roots music and everything.
Okay.
And why did I do it? Why did I choose and went to Cap Asian? And so when my colleagues and those were having the great parts of departments in Haiti, I went to the smaller ones. And then I also lived at El Rancho in Port-au-Prince. Because I care about people. I truly care about people. For me, it's not about voting and whether you vote for me. It's because I care about human beings. And that's why, I tell people, the lady who took care of me as a baby, who took care of me, who I don't even know whether I should consider a second mother or a grandmother, was from Ghana. Her name was Claire. Okay, we call her Madam. Everyone in South Gigas knows Madam. They all ate because she cooked the best peas and rice. But she took care of me before. She worked with my parents. Madam worked with my parents so long that she was working before I was born, and she was working with us when my son was born.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so, and we loved her. Mm-hmm. And we loved her. We saw no difference because we care about people. Now, we have some challenges, of course, but I want people to know, all the voters to know, is that whenever I'm there, whenever I'm in the House of Assembly, whenever I'm in a minister, the only important thing, not the most important, the only important thing is the people who I'm representing. Mm-hmm. And so I will always put people's interests first, mm-hmm. ahead of mine. Wow. And so, I want them to know that, like I said, I could have, you know what happens when there's a hurricane? Prices go up. Okay? Prices go up.
Yeah.
When the earthquake happened in Haiti, we could have put prices up.
Yeah.
I'm a co-owner in Digicel. I could have put prices up on calls to Haiti and make more money. But what did I do? I gave out free credit so people can speak to their loved ones. And that's the essence of who I am as a person. I want people to remember that. And then I'm going to end by saying this. I'm a PNP. And I want the PNP party to win. And I need people to support the PNP. I don't want them to come out and say, EJ only spoke about himself. But I'm that large candidate, and I want people to understand it. But I'm also a member of the PNP, and I want them to continue to support the PNP.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I think we are going to conclude this afternoon, and we got a lot of time because, election is for next year. Yep. The premier will call the date, but we got a few months ago. I would love to have you more often.
Well, I'll tell you, the election, the House of Assembly has to be dissolved by the 4th of March. Mm-hmm. That's the last day. So he has to call election call it by the 4th of March. It doesn't have to be on the 4th of March. But he has to at least by the 4th of March call the election.
All right. So I see many people try to call. Can I take maybe one call?
You can take whatever you want to call.
Okay.
I'm at your disposal.
Anyway, et si moi nous appelez, c'est que nous comprenons conversation. Est-ce que nous avons une question directe? Si vous avez une question directe, posez-le. Parce que les autres ne pas traduire le temps coup de devant moi. L'autre groupe mon capitaine moi traduire d'abord prendre plus de temps et monsieur t'a manqué élégant. Ou l'on pas traduire pas couper les plus élégants. Ça l'a dit yo, li kembe parole yo. C'est comprendre. Et bien soit ça pile cause là. Moi m'a tourner, et pour venir raconter tout ça monsieur a dit. M'a tourner. Soit dans pile gros tonton causé. Je vais parler comment li c'est moun, li connaît pas de père, li connaît au cap, li remet moun, li a la question de comme si a propose a fait moun dit haïtien c'est moun qui levé c'est dans haïtien, moun dans haïtien fait dans haïtien grandi. Comprendre? Je vais parler pile gros tonton causé. OK? Mais si vous avez une question, nous devons prendre deux questions pour ancien député. La première là, on allait vite parce que la parle challenge. Alors, selon ça le dit, on doit Washington Music pas qu'à aller dans l'élection encore. C'est ça le dit. Parce qu'il a fait 2 mandats comme première. Constitution pas ben droit pour là. C'est lui qui a parlé comme leader. Il a pas de l'autre monde, mais il demandait à ce que le monde capable de voter PNP. C'est une comprendre. So, pour finir aujourd'hui, ok, pour finir aujourd'hui, ok, si n'après c'est dans 339, 58, 15, 331, 58, 15, pas n'importe quoi. Pour finir aujourd'hui, monsieur a dit pile belle cause que moi-même, après me finir souvent à l'autre groupe, on va faire un petit débat sur les tout petits. OK? Et puis après, on a fait un petit parler. C'est d'accord. All right. So, the people say, there are some people just texted me say, man, you need to come back because this 1 hour is not enough for you. But the reason why, because we had another group of people. So can we do it another? Can we do another show?
I will say this, commit to is this.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime. I mean, if I'm out of the country, I'm out of the country. But anytime I'll come back.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to you, and I'll say it to the people who are listening.
Okay, thank you.
I know that there are issues that are important to your community.
Yes.
Okay, and I know that there's going to be some tough concerns. Okay,
because they say I don't actually no question about the the violence, the gun violence.
No, I'm saying, and then there's going to be some tough questions. There's some tough questions that your people want answers to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they want to know where they stand, and I don't want to avoid those questions. I'm not here for easy questions. I don't necessarily have to give me the questions. You can ask me whatever question they want. I'll tell you. I'll give you my feedback.
Okay, that's good. So. Let's say I will send you the invitation again because people not happy because I don't actually know anything about the volume of crimes today. But I understand that my listeners, 1 hour is not enough for real. I do understand that.
And I know issues relating to immigration issues that are important to them.
Il dit que il connaît que nous avons pile question soit fait immigration, il connaît communauté haïtienne a pile problème. Il veut répondre toutes questions yo. Mais tant pas possible parce que moi-même personnellement je connais que il n'est pas possible. So let's say maybe 2-3 weeks from now.
But listen, whenever you want, okay. because I do know, and I'll end with this. You don't have to answer. I do know there are times when I go to people and I say, "Where are you from?" Mm-hmm. And they put their head down, and I said, "Tell me where you're from." And they said, "Well, I was born here, but my parents are from Haiti." And you can see that there's a bit of hesitation where they're not sure where they're at. Whether they're Turks and Caicos Islanders or they're Haitian. And I know that we have to resolve that. We have to come to some position where it's the best case scenario. So I know there's lots of questions that if I want to be Premier of the Turks and Caicos, that your community wants to genuinely ask me, where do you stand on these things? Okay. And we'll have a conversation about it.
All right. So let's see if we can do it maybe next Saturday, this October 26th.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so we can come back. And maman de toute mon participation, le 26 on a gagné Monsieur Saunders. Alors, attendez que ça le dit. Les mêmes qui parlent primaire pays, ils besoin connaître toute sécurité. Il rappelle tout le monde qui fait ici, ils sont au jeune, ils racontent si haïtien si au TI. Et le problème ça fait résoudre. Donc, on nous prend rendez-vous avec lui pour le 26 si Dieu veut. Thank you very much once again for coming, Honorable Saunders. I'll see you next
on the 26th. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
All right, thank you. Monio, restez là. Et puis, moi, pour venir avec l'autre série pour nous. Restez là, parlez quel côté, s'il vous plaît. Parlez quel côté.
Au même chrétien qu'entrer dans l'église, peut-être avantage ou derrière prestige. Si c'est pas rien sérieux, t'as réglé, t'es payé ou pas qu'à voyager. Ya la la le, ya la, ya le la, ya la la le, ya la la le, ya la la le. Avion après les voler, ak moun ki sauvé. Ça pas dit tout pas jamais péché, mais au bien temps lavé.
On nous parle.
Moi pas con qui destination, ni bralé posé. Même connaissez que Jésus, c'est là que nous parler. Est-ce qu'on a fait la paix avec mon Dieu? Qui veut dire est-ce qu'on t'a changé? Est-ce que vous ses amis la vérité? Sinon vous pas qu'à voyager. Et vous même chrétien qu'à écouter. Et toute la vie où t'es mal marché. Pour quelle chance pour sauver à travers le feu? Demandez mon Dieu pour le pardonner. Ou même qui n'a Jésus et contre toute condition, Et on connaît ou pas pareil, on pas besoin présenter. Jésus dégagé dans la vie, si tout pour loin ou changer. Et vous-même chrétien qui écouté, et toute la vie où t'es mal marché, pour des choses pour sauver à travers le feu, demandez bon Dieu pour le pardonner. Est-ce que c'est petit Christ là, oui? Est-ce que pas tout le temps on va mélanger? Est-ce que c'est vrai ou t'es gain pas changé? Eh bien, ou prêt pour voyager? L'avion après à décoller, est-ce que vous parlez? Est-ce que ticket ou acheté pour aller checker? Et au bail dernier signal pour embarquer. Est-ce que rempli conditions pour être là pour l'entrée? Est-ce que c'est petit Christ là, oui? Est-ce que pas tout le temps on va mélanger? Est-ce que c'est vrai ou t'es gain pas changé? Eh bien, ou prêt pour voyager? Est-ce que c'est vrai ou t'es aimé, bon Dieu? Est-ce que pas ta vie, Jean-Claude t'es blé? Est-ce que c'est amis la vérité? Eh bien, ou prêt pour voyager? Chargé pour l'aller rouler. Si la yo qui pas pareil, yo tout a
On nous parle.
été. Captain Marguerite à bord, tout bagaille checké. Équipage la bras monté, et puis démonstration pour attacher. Dans l'église, c'est bon, t'es qu'on le chauffer. Faut pas jamais coûter message là que parler. Et si on pas jamais font gens pour changer, eh bien, ou pas qu'à voyager. Au même chrétien qu'entrer dans l'église, peut-être avantage ou derrière prestige. Si c'est pas rien sérieux, t'as réglé, eh bien, ou pas qu'à voyager.
On nous parle.
Avion après les voler, ak moun qui sauvé. Ça pas dit tout pas jamais péché, mais au bien temps lavé. Moi pas con qui destination, libre aller poser. Même connaissez que Jésus, c'est là que nous parlons. Est-ce qu'on a fait la paix avec mon Dieu? Qui veut dire est-ce qu'on a changé? Est-ce que vous ses amis la vérité? Sinon, on va pas voyager. chrétien qui a écouté, et toute la vie où t'es mal marché, aucune chance pour sauver à travers le feu, demandez bon Dieu pour le pardonner. Oh, même qui n'a Jésus, et qu'on toute condition, si on connaît ou pas pareil, on pas besoin présenter. Jésus décagé dans la vie, si tout pour loin ou changer. Et vous-même chrétien qui écouté, et toute la vie où t'es mal marché, aucune chance pour sauver à travers le feu, mais demandez bon Dieu pour le pardonner. Est-ce que c'est petit Christ là, oui? Est-ce que pas tout le temps on va mélanger? Est-ce que c'est vrai ou t'es gain t'as changé? Eh bien, ou prêt pour voyager? Chaya la la le, ye la, ye la la le. Chaya la la le, ye la la le. Chaya la la le, ye la le. Même chrétien quand dans l'église, peut-être avantage ou derrière prestige. Si c'est pas rien sérieux, t'as réglé.
At the population differently and spread it out kind of so that a lot more people can be able to access the help that we need. So then it was spread out to if you have a child with someone, if it's the mother of your child, if it's the father of your child, and you're trying to seek help, you don't have to be married to try and seek to get the protection that you need.
Et moi, Miss Arthur, lui-même lui expliqué que question protection, c'est pas un bagage à inventer, c'est un bagage qui est dans la loi. Et pays, par exemple, il pas seulement pour madame Marie, ça veut dire monde qui est marié, mais lui-même tout li en cours pour monde soit qui font petit avec une fille font petit avec une madame, un petit monde dehors. On ça est capable de chercher protection ça, mais n'attend que le banon protection. Protection.
Yes, so when we think about domestic violence, first of all, what we do know is that within our ordinance, it includes any kind of harmful acts, so like Ms. Morgan said, that falls under a different scope of the different types of violence, which is physical, sexual, financial, emotional, and it's occurring between. It's this constant pattern occurring between those living inside the same house with someone. You feel like you need protection from that person, then you go seek protection. If it's from a partner, whether it was sexual or intimate relationship with this person, and you feel like you need help because of the way that they've been treating you, if you're experiencing any type of abuse, you seek the help. If you're an elderly and you're in the house with someone and you feel like you need help from that person, if it's your son and you feel like you need help from your son and you're living in the same house, if it's your daughter, being abusive towards you, then you can also go and seek help for that.
Ok, so protection yo allé dans divers comme nous te connaît que gagner domestique violence qui fait sur le plan moral, sur le plan économique, physique, sexuel et autres. Il dit que par exemple si c'est une madame qui sentit que lui bien abusé physiquement, sexuellement ou bien n'importe genre, il est capable d'aller dans le département à chercher secours. Son mari tout mesdames yo tout yo fait monsieur passe en pile misère tout sous senti madame m'a faut passer misère ou capable chercher sur protection. Si son petite qui sentit que il est en danger avec sa papa l'a dit il est capable chercher protection si c'est yon papa tout qui sorti en danger, yon maman qui sorti en danger de façon petite, il est capable de chercher protection. Ça veut dire protection, c'est pour tout le monde, c'est pas seulement pour Timoni ou bien pour parents. Si son personnage qui n'ont qu'à avec un monde, c'est ça nous les elderly, un personnage qui n'ont qu'à avec un monde qui sentit qu'il n'est pas trop en sécurité par rapport à gens à traiter, et monde qui a gardé, il a pas gardé bien, mais il est capable bien chercher bien protection ça yo. Et nous connaissons que nous avons fait une émission, il y a un numéro de téléphone qui va relayer pour nous capables et bien et chercher protection yo. All right, so okay, so you mentioned protection, and I love the fact that the men also can seek protection, because not all the time we see men get coverage. Got covered. But this time we got covered, guys, because they always mention ladies, the men, ladies and kids, and the elderly. But the men always left behind, and sometimes the men also get abused from their wives. Yeah, they got abused, using the bad languages and all kind of words. And thank you, guys, for bringing the male insiders, because I don't see that often. I appreciate that.
Yes.
So, amen. I'm covered.
The department tries to strive for gender equity and equality in all
Alors,
cases.
sorry, once again, let me see if I can. Samedi, moun là, moi, je suis bien content. C'est la première fois moi, je mets des garçons dans le baril là. Et parce que tout bagage c'est pour femmes, tout bagage c'est pour petit monde, tout bagage c'est pour grand monde. Garçon lui-même, c'est un bout, on mal, donc ça dépend de qui révèle. Mais non, en plus, si madame l'a dit nos mauvaises paroles, nous sentons nous attaquer. C'est pour nous aller dans le département chambre d'affaires. On a cherché protection. This is good. So even though when you go, if I go, seek or protection, and I don't think the department will take me serious. They say, how that is possible? The male can seek for. How you all consider that if somebody like a man feel that been abused from his wife and then comes to your department, how are you going to consider that? You take it seriously, or
we
just
do. We take it very seriously.
more serious if it's a woman, right?
We take it. No, we don't take any one more serious than the other.
Okay.
For us, abuse is abuse, and for us, our stance is there is no excuse for abuse.
Okay.
Because once what happened is that a person's hurt people.
Okay.
And so wherever the hurt is coming from, our aim is to try to prevent it and to stop it, right? So we don't want to always be in a mode where we are fixing the problem. So we like to even try to stop it before it starts. So when men come in, and I must say, kudos to the males, because in recent time we have seen an increase in the number of males who are coming forward to us. Yes, we do have an increase of men who are coming forward to us seeking protection orders for various things, because we will always say, men may physically harm women, but women can emotionally destroy a man in a second. So you may take an hour to beat us down, but a woman can give us 1 minute and we can destroy a man's ego with our mouths. So we do have men who are coming in, and we do treat them with the same empathy as we would any female that comes to the department.
Oh wow, very good. I mean, Monday Monio. Si c'est un garçon par exemple senti l'a abusé, il vit dans le département comme un receval. Madame va répondre que M. Morgan répond, il dit traiter tout le monde même genre. Égo, ça veut dire pas question ou puis en haut, puis en bas, tout le monde même regard, même attention. Et il dit juste ça yo joindre plus garçons qu'on est. Et je n'ai quantité de garçons qui viennent porter plainte, qui viennent chercher protection dans contre mesdames yo. Et ça, madame a dit, c'est vrai, il dit que physiquement, un garçon doit, comme si maltraiter une fille physiquement, il toujours connaît garçon qui a battu une fille. Mais fille là, avec bouche li, dans une seconde, madame a dit, il est capable de détruire le caractère d'un garçon, retirer la personnalité de la gâte, faire venir comme si c'est un monde qui vient perdu confiance dans lui. Or, mesdames, yo, avec bouche yo, dans une minute, il est capable de détruire un garçon. C'est ça que fait, yo pas jamais prendre, yo, tant coup en jouette, que ces filles, que ces garçons, ils prennent tous les deux au sérieux.
So maybe in time past, persons, the stigma attached to males speaking up about being abused is great. And so what happened is that in some communities, in some settings, it's hard for men themselves to reach to the point where they can actually report that they themselves have been abused. So the obstacle is not even there when they get to us. The obstacle is before they even get to anyone, before they leave their door. Because most men, the idea of saying to somebody else that a woman just beat down on me, or a woman just said certain things to me, or I have no money and this woman. So the men tend to be more reserved, more to keep it in and hide it, and because they cannot deal with the pain of people outside they're thinking, what if another male know that this happening to me? What are they going to call me? How are they going to see me? They're not going to see me as a man anymore, right? They're going to probably think I need to start wearing a dress because I'm no longer a man. But we are here to say you have to stop the pain, because what happened is that when they keep that in, what happened is that, think of a pressure cooker, a pressure cooker pot. And when you put that on and you keep adding the pressure, it builds up. If it's not released after a while, something bad is going to happen. And so that's why the theme is so appropriate this year, and it's even more appropriate for men to understand that you have to stop this pain. You can't allow the pressure to keep building up. You have to stop the pain by breaking the chain. Speak up.
Madame a dit que bagay la onti jan difficile la kay garçon, parce que garçon yo onti jan kwen nan yo, comme si même si Philip dit yo c'est des ko bagay pas bize yo toujours peur avancer. C'est ça que fait quand au cas pour que gagne majorité c'est femelle, mais monsieur madame a dit nous si nous non situation comme ça, comme si a fait pour nous penser que ça on va dit de nous comme garçon, si on l'autre garçon tendait comme madame nous caloter nous, il dit même si mon connaît, c'est toujours battre pour nous sortir dans une zone de confort que nous est, parce que nous quand nous trop confortable nous dit bagay, mais il dit l'on prend un Coca-Cola et puis souke Coca-Cola sous pas ouvrir tête bouchon et bien pour évaporer l'air quand là, et bien qu'il y a un bagay mal capable de passer. Il dit c'est ça que fait grand pile monsieur yo dit qui malade, il faut des gros maladies, c'est là yo concentré trop par bagay là comme si fi entrer surtout l'on pas fi à l'argent. Madame dit ça, l'on pas fi à l'argent, la joue comme si paresseux, pauvre, tout ça au cas insulté ou cas fort, cas insulté, ça c'est domestique violence yo parole yo. Et il dit, là où pas ouvrir et coca la pas bleu. Et il dit que c'est ça que fait aujourd'hui où il y a un problème. Il dit, faut nous dégager, nous casser chaîne là. Pas regarder que ces garçons nous trop fiers. Et comme si nos papa dit, femme abuser nous, mais comme si, il montrait que normalement, par question d'un garçon là, abuse, c'est abuse. Ça veut dire que bien abuser nous, c'est mettre dehors.
Right. So I must say though that even though we do have an increase of men coming forward and we are assisting men to court as well to obtain protection orders where necessary, we however still have a case where basically to every one male that come to our office we have 9 women. So we still have a much greater percentage of women who are still experiencing domestic abuse.
I think because they, sometimes they started it, they can't keep it, and then after that they make noise. I think so. But yeah, at the end of the day, I against it myself because I against that, and I always say that here. And because the person I am in the community, I receive calls all the time, so about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, from my community, and calling me, hey, they have a situation, and sometimes I take my car and drive out, and to go resolve the problem because I myself against that.
Yes.
Two person, we can talk, we can discuss. I love communicate. I don't mind to have a conversation. Maybe if you're sleeping, and I'll ask you a few minutes, or maybe half an hour before you go to your bed. And I said, okay, I will have to discuss something with you. We got things proper, So at the end of the day, we have no place for this kind of abuse in our society. We don't need that. I'm not saying that because I was, joking when I said, no, I against that. And I believe it is time for people to come forward, like you just said, male and female.
Yes.
And most of the case we have is female, because female, they
Yes.
totally,
Yes.
they get abused for real. And this is not again, and this is not, some of them are not lying. They are not lying. They say telling the truth. And this is the reason why, and I would like to ask that particular question to you all this afternoon, you're both. What are the consequences coming after abusing? Because this is something people need to know. Because they need to know that they will get punished for it. Because, hey, if there's no, or there's no consequences, abuse will still remain. People need to know what is going on. What is the consequences?
So we're glad that you actually brought that up, because one of the reasons for us coming on Hope Radio is so that we can spread more awareness and that persons know that, hey, we know that you have a community that you want to confide in. You know that there are community members that you can call upon, but in situations like this, consider your first point of contact, and we want to stress that your first point of contact probably be the police, because they can try, they are there to help, de-escalate the situation. So we want to first say that let your call be to 911, especially if you're getting abused. So let me just stress that first. So for us now, under the law, you are, if it is that you are experiencing abuse, Ms. Morgan mentioned it, there is something called a protection order that you can apply for. Once you call the police, they can assist you in applying for a protection order, and our department is also here to help you in applying for a protection order. So, after the police has already taken the information from you, they will probably bring you or refer you to our department so that we can further assist you when applying for the protection order, okay? Now, when you go and you apply for a protection order, there are certain things under the protection order that will, ensure your safety. So it will say the abuser cannot come so many feet to your house, or they can't come near the children's school, or they can't come near your place of work. And there are certain things that can be addressed, and there are certain things that you can also ask for inside this protection order. So it's not just you just tick it off the box that it's there and that's final. You can ask for certain things if you feel like he has or she has a way of behaving, and that they are likely to do something outside of those things that are listed. You can also ask for certain things from the judge. We find that persons are afraid of court. So, they will come to the department and they would want certain things, and they will want the protection, but then when we reach the court part, they don't want that level. They don't want to see that. But we want to encourage you guys to still see it through, try and get that order from the court that, that your abuser can't do these certain things. Okay?
Ok, moi demande madame, par exemple, mon capabiliser mon yo, qui conséquences il y a pour yo, parce que fait faut nous connaît que moi te dit à l'heure, moi contre toutes sortes de violences, moi contre lui, mais lui montrer que normalement par rapport à niveau violence, par exemple, si vous sentez que vous êtes en danger pendant que on n'a pas biseau, quelle que soit sous forme là, c'est toujours les 911. Les 911 pour capable chercher protection, la police a venu, et la police est venue, il a fait premier droit et puis après droit aliment après il va référer dossier à Bayo dans le département gendarme d'affaires. Elle est arrivée dans le gendarme d'affaires qu'on a yo même yo pour aller, et bien c'est ça qui va arriver côté que pas bien ça nous relais protection qui va relais que ça nous relais protection order. Protection order c'est bien il y a un niveau côté que qu'on a monde qui est agressé là, quelle que soit forme là, et bien côté que il parle bail on c'est de l'ordre, il a dit mais combien de pieds de distance qu'il pas arriver bon car, mais combien de pieds de distance il pas arriver bon l'école petite, mais combien de pieds de distance puis pas passer quand on travaille. Et non seulement ça, ou capable d'aller au tribunal, ou capable demander plus bagaille, ou capable demander plus bagaille et plus bagaille. Mais il dit majorité fois, yo, là, mon yo arrivé dans le département, yo pas trop aimé aller dans le tribunal. Il dit surtout, yo, ouais, mon yo pas aimé aller au tribunal. Surtout ici, et depuis qu'il fait un tribunal, il dit quitter ça là, mais il dit c'est pour parfois nous aller dans le tribunal pour nous arriver dans la question jugement. Et là, ça, pour nous, connaît qui ça, eh bien, la loi lui-même, il peut faire avec on capable de dire mon yo. Now, the next question.
I know you mentioned the consequences, and I was gonna get into that,
Okay.
but
Yeah, important for me.
yeah, I didn't forget. So what I wanted to say that so with the protection order now, you can get it for up to 3 years, right? And if it is so, the consequences will come into play if it is that the accused or the abuser breaches that protection order. So you know they were told by the judge in this order, you know, to stay away, and they are still coming to your house, or they're still trying to interact with you, and you go and report it, and that should be what you report it immediately to the police that they're breaching the protection order. What happens is that they may be subject to a fine of up to $5,000, or they can go up to prison for up to 3 months the first time they do it. So that's the first time they do it. If they do it a second time, they can face up to a $10,000 fine, and then they can be in prison for 1 year, or they can be fined and go to prison for 1 year. And then if there's a third time, then they can go into prison for up to 5 years if they breach a protection
Ok,
order.
et qu'on a mes conséquences, par exemple, les premier bagay yo échoue, c'est protection, ordre de protection. C'est-à-dire, côté que par rapport à ça, juge l'a dit, mais ça pas de fait, qu'on a, si on n'a pas respecté ça, tant qu'on on dit que t'es bout là, il sorti en danger, il pas venir là Kaili, et puis ouais là Kaili, et puis nous arrivons dans discussion, nous arrivons dans protection, il dit que ou même ou pas doit la Kaili dame là encore. Bien madame ou bien moun. On a veillé malgré yo dit puis qu'on aller ou aller. Eh bien il y a une conséquence pour ça. Conséquence là, il y a pile. Et si c'est la première fois faire ça, ou avez pour payer l'argent, ou avez pour prendre 3 mois en prison. Soit aller pour faire son deuxième fois, la monter dans $5,000 et puis 3 ans en prison. Soit aller une troisième fois, la monter dans $10,000 ou capable de prendre environ 5 ans en prison. On veut dire, et protection order, c'est lié au premier bail. On dit que pour avec madame ou bouboutou, bien moun ko est là, ou bien un parent qu'on peut avoir petit, qui a pris les sous lui. Ben yo dit petit ça pour pigala les côté maman, bien côté monde s'arrêter encore. Donc s'il viole, bien automatiquement il va commencer bien appliquer la loi.
Just to add to that as well, like my colleague said, this is not, the protection order comes with a lot of parameters for protection for the applicant. We would call the person who is being affected, who makes the application, the applicant, and the person who it's against, the respondent. Now, as it relates to the protection order, that will happen if you break it. Like my colleague says, you have consequences that could lead to jail time. But what persons need to understand that all acts of domestic violence is a crime. So it's even outside of the gamut of a protection order. You don't even have to obtain a protection order to face consequences. Because if you abuse someone, if you hit someone, if you cause them to have wounds and abuses, and they go and they report it to the station, you don't even have to go through a protection order. It can be a straight charge for assault. And those come with heavier and higher fines and jail time. You can just go to jail. So persons may sit back and think that, oh, it's just we go to court, there's a protection order and I can do. But persons need to understand that it's a crime. It's a crime straight up. And so from the get-go, from the police is called in, you can be arrested and you can be placed in lockup, awaiting bail. And so because protection order, a lot of times persons don't realize that it's just another means for the police to have a certain level of protection for the client or the applicant until they have completed the other charges against the persons. So we may have persons who are in court and you're getting a protection order and they're also in court for assault or common law. And so you're getting 2 charges. So persons don't take this lightly. That's the point we want to make, is that it's not a light game. It's a crime. Domestic violence is a crime. Another thing we want persons to understand is that when sometimes persons get a protection order, like my colleague says, the applicant and the respondent may decide, or especially the respondent, which is the person who commits the crime, may decide that they want to, go around the order. And so they may friend up the applicant and try to sweet them up. And like my colleague said, one of the things is that not to enter the residence, not to go to the workplace, not to enter at the place of the children's school. There are so many gamuts to it. And then, but because they think, oh, I'm nicing up this person now, they may very well take themselves and they go to the person's home. But if you get a protection order that says you're not to enter the home and you go there, you don't know if this applicant, what you're going there to do. And this applicant may just decide one day because of spite, oh, no, you broke the order. So bear in mind, once there is an order in place, unless it is officially broken by the judge, and I stress the judge, only the judge that made the order can break the order. So unless it's up or it's broken by the judge, bear in mind you are still under the consequences.
Bon, Madame Morgan expliqué que normalement violence. It's not the correct. I'm sorry. Donc, on allait vite que Madame là, lui expliquait que, il expliquait que violence c'est crime, tout simplement. Violence par l'autre bagaille que crime. Et il montrait que le fait que c'est crime que il y a qu'un monde n'a pas à côté pour comprendre que il pas crime. Il dit de pour faire violence, on a crime, on a bagaille qui pas bon. Donc on peut arrêter depuis c'est même premier côté que monde qui en danger, les police doit arrêter là qui va mettre en prison parce que là depuis monde les police c'est en danger c'est secours que il relève au secours que le fait que mon relève au secours, la police lui-même elle fait première intervention eh bien, il est capable de pour capable de joindre monde 26 pour larguer jusqu'à répondre à la question. Mais, on va qui est important que Madame a dit qui est important. Il dit que là où il vient après quand il mettez protection hors de protection dehors, il y a un peu de monde qui violait hors de protection. Comme si on dit, vous avez un problème avec vos amis, bien une madame, un mari, une maman, une petite, son on, ouais. Et puis c'est vrai que une protection ordre qui en effet ou bien qui en full force. Eh bien, on prend pas joie par là avec mon nom et puis nous résoudre petit problème nous à deux, nous dit OK bagaille. Eh bien, madame a dit que selon protection qui en vigueur ou pas doué même si nous résoudre problème là nous parler dans la rue si on te dit pas dans travail on te dit pas l'école on te dit pas la caille ou pas gain doit aller jusqu'à ce que dès que juge la te bail arrivé ou bien que nous deux nous tourner dans tribunal là pour nous dire juge là nous résoudre ça pour juge là garder si ça c'est vrai. Eh bien, il dit c'est ça le juge là qui te mettait ordre protection en vigueur qui est capable de craser ordre ça. Il dit que Gedel est capable c'est une fille et puis il besoin mettre dans rouleau, il va regarder toi. Puis il dit mais OK vinn là là soir, et même pour venir là, il est capable relayer encore la police puis il dit que mot violé ordre protection de BD. Connaît automatiquement ça c'est prison parce que les sont violé la loi. Il dit que même si il te mettait ordre de protection en cours, même si nous parler en téléphone, nous pas un problème, nous ca parler mais et côté te dit tout ça que tu dit dans qui écrit dans protection ordre on respecter jusqu'à l'air fini ou bien on respecter jusqu'à juge là lui-même décider casser par rapport à tout nous capable faire et pour nous eh bien à le tribunal encore pour juge là lui-même qui te mettait là retirer. Well, I think I said, oh, I think so. So now, I'm going to, I don't know if that is okay if we take a few calls. Okay, all right. Et je vais permettre que Zami ou même Captain est là. Not a lot because time is over, but ma prend quelques questions. Okay. Si vous avez une question pour mon question domestique, violence domestique, on fait ça rapide. Ok? J'aime dire, je ne vais pas prendre 10, je vais prendre 20 questions. Peut-être que je prends 2 ou 3 questions. 2 ou 3, 4 questions. Ok? Et nous t'arrêtons que nous relais parce que ça c'est un sujet qui est vraiment important. On parler de domestique violence. C'est bagaille que vous pas même connaît. Imaginez que vous fille qui a joué pour l'argent. Il pas connaît s'il t'a fait violence. Et violence liée. Ouais. Violence liée. Mon téléphone c'est 331 23 à 58 15. 339 58 15. Est-ce que si j'ai affaire à paiement sauter, est-ce que si j'ai un monde qui on dit genre je pas connaître ça, est-ce que c'est j'ai mon venu oui? To be honest, when you have a show like that, okay, let me take the first call. All right, bonsoir, où dans l'air?
Bonsoir, monsieur.
Allô?
Autorité au Gila.
Allô?
Allô, au début.
What's going on here? Ok. Eh bien, essayez-le encore, s'il vous plaît. Essayez-le encore. Et relais dans 331 23 23 de préférence, à nous garder. Moi, ça n'a pas monté dans le bord de là. Relais dans 331 23 23, on allait. But I was saying, les amis, on relève vite, c'est ça, on toujours bah, nous possibilités, mais nous pas jamais profiter. C'est l'émission finie, c'est ça, on a crasé le téléphone. Ensuite, un sujet comme ça, je pense que même si nous pas de questions. Les amis, est-ce qu'on va laisser pour l'émission? Eh bien, là, je vais jouer les non. Pour ça, on va aller dans 331 pour moi, non. Ça m'a pas le Kembe, dynamique, quoi, pas bon. 331 58 15. Ok? Ouais. 331 58 15, 339 58 15, c'est numéro ça, portable là, pas là-dedans. Parce que là, difficile pour moi pour me camber là, ok? On a allé. 331 58 15, 339 58 15, on va prendre une question. Et ça va dire yo important. Il faut que nous, soit nous corrèle ou bien nous pas d'accord. Ce qui ça ne pas d'accord là-dedans. Parce que, on sujet pas pour projeter et puis pour ne pas avoir un monde qui fait qu'une réaction sur lui. Donc, il n'y a pas de valeur là, montrer que nous coupables. Ça, c'est ça, la montrer. Ah, si dans ma gamme qui est coupable, il périllé, c'est ça, on va dire. Ok? On pose les amis là. Les amis, bonsoir, dans l'air.
Bonsoir, DG. Bonsoir, responsable qui est là.
Oui, bonsoir.
Je suis bien content pour une belle émission comme ça, après-midi, que vous nous donnez nous.
Oui.
Et, simplement, DG, s'il vous plaît, si vous avisez par un voisinage ou un madame au petit, est-ce que ça, ou pas, un départemental?
Ok. C'est la question ça?
On
nous parle. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. The caller would like to thank you both for coming on the radio, speak about that. He appreciate that, and he asks for God to bless. He asks God to bless you, and he has a question. His question is, what can he do if he have a neighbor that give them problem? Like he mentioned that if him and his wife, his family live in peace in one corner, and somebody live the next door bring troubles, if he can also go to that department. If you consider that also as a domestic violence.
For domestic violence, what we probably should have laid the base work to say that is that there must be some relation for it to go under our ordinance and therefore obtain a domestic violence protection order. So there have to be, so he's probably referring to neighbors, but they're probably not related under anything. So that would more come under that's really a restraining order, or what you will have to do is go to the police and make a report for that case, and then the police will take it from there.
Ok. Madame a dit que là on parle de domestic violence, c'est bagay qui gagne lien avec famille, monde qui gagne relation. C'est ça qui tombait en bas ordonnance yo, en bas pouvoir yo. Mais pour forme de saoudien, pour yon monde qui pas famille yo qui était à côté ou ses voisins, li plus possible pour que ou aller ou aller la police. Que gagne l'autre secteur, gagne l'autre loi qui couvre pour ça, mais ça c'est la police pour aller. Et la police là au vini, yo pas la guider selon côté pio guido là dans le département côté pio voyo là. Donc par exemple si on a joué musique ou pendant où était là, il joue musique numéro tel, on ça disturbe, ça veut dire on ça prend près ou il pas bon la paix, donc c'est là où on prend la police et la loi lui-même lui interdit à ce que monde eh bien yo même yo prend droit à l'autre monde. Ça veut dire on comprend une question là. Et par exemple si c'est un monde qui a joué musique on a empêché au vivre, il a joué toute journée, il a joué musique bien de ça ou aller la police ou font plainte pour eux, ou parler avec eux amicalement ou pas répondre et puis autant plainte. Le plainte là lui-même, il peut mener nous sous département où doit aller à côté que mon là qu'on a violer droit qu'on gagne pour vivre en paix. Voilà. Et on prend il y a deux questions encore, c'est ça. Like I was saying before the caller call, see, when you speak about this, I want you to know that not many people will like it. And by experience, I've been doing radio for the longest. I know the show that will receive a lot of calls. I can tell you some shows, you just have to speak it. Let the message go. Because, you know, most of the time in our society, I'm not going to say in my community, but I know in my community this is high. It is high. So, when the male always thinking that they are superior, hey, listen, when I speak, you must listen, right? For me, as a Christian, and for many of the audience, we understand that the Bible said, yeah, the woman must obey. And we take that as, you know, we are the boss. And it doesn't seem so. People don't go to the context of the point. It doesn't work like that. Right? Everything have to be discussed, everything have to be done the proper way. And this is what I am saying in this radio every morning. See, that's why always in the morning when I start talking about the responsibility of a man and a woman, people don't come because they don't like to hear the truth. Once you are speaking something that can protect some others, you will not receive. Even today, I can tell you, some women are pressured to call. They may want to call, but they're scared to call. And I can tell you, after you leave, they will call me. Man, the show was good, but I was afraid to call. So when you call me, you tell me you was afraid to call. So what do you want me to say? Okay. Maybe when time is due, you will call. And you will call police. Before the things got worse, okay? Let's get things together. But to be honest, I am so pleased to receive you this afternoon because now the message is gone off. So if people don't listen, if they don't comply, so they're going to pay the consequences, not me. Because I comply.
Right.
I comply.
If I may add, you use the terminology from the Bible. Women, obey your husband, right? But what persons always tend to forget is that same scripture, if you go down in it, it says, husbands, you are to love your wife like Christ loved the church. And a lot of them just stop at the obey, but they don't see the part about the love your wife. A lot of people also misinterpret that scripture to not realize that was given to a Christian husband for his Christian wife. Yes. And if you as a man is a child of God, there's no way you are going to abuse your wife.
Right. And that doesn't happen.
Right.
See, and this is exactly my message every morning. We are just read it. We are just passing by to the people, but we're not practicing it. And this is the worst scenario of it, right? They being on the, hey, listen, I'm the preacher this morning. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what the brother said you should do. And their wife says, yes. And this is the problem. And this is the same thing at the church. To be honest, if I was one of the wife, I would stand and say, no, you can't preach that message. This is not for you. Leave that, please. Leave the microphone away, man. And this is the same thing today. Many people, a lot of women, I don't know too much male, but I know a lot of women call, ask me the number, where to go. I was hoping today they call and say, yes, I had a situation. I went to the bar and this is, I got a solution and things like that. But they will not call because they're afraid. They may get trouble. They may be in trouble later on. But whatever the problem, whatever the situation may be, we need to stop. Okay? We need to stop. Because, again, from the Christian perspective, I said that. And madam, I say that for you if you didn't know, right? Because
Yes.
I don't think you listen to the show all the time. My show in the morning.
I do. I just don't understand it.
No, but on Thursdays, always in English. Thursdays. Okay. And we said to the people, right? We pretending too much. And there are some women, I'm going to say that in Korean. Gen qui attendent là qui propose y a vivre bien. Nous connaissons pas vivre bien. Et les poser question pour qu'on ait protection. Comment vous protéger? No. They're not going to call. I know. They're pretending. I'm a good Christian. I'm this. At the end of the day, just think. You will see. You come here and try to bring light. Lighten people how to live, and they're not gonna call. They're gonna call me later tomorrow. So Joseph, the show's good, but man, I don't want my voice in there. Everybody know my voice. What does that have to do with me? If somebody's abused me, I will say it. And one day I was on the street and one of the police officers stopped at me and then asked me for my license and then I give him everything and he started shouting me. He said, no man, don't do it. I said, officer, with all due respect, do not ever do this. Because you ask me for my driving license and I give it to you. You ask me for registration and entrance, I give it to you. So if I committed anything, and you will issue me a ticket. Tell me what I do wrong. But not shout on me just like I'm a child. No, I said, no, officer, don't do that. And after the way I said it to him, he was so kind to understand, and he said, man, my apology. I was a bit too rough. He couldn't give me a ticket, and I didn't do nothing wrong. And he said, you have a blessed day, just go. Yeah, you have to stand for your right. I didn't do just like him and reply to him, no, I speak with him politely. The officer do not ever do that. This is not under your, you are.
It is 5 p.m. Il est 17h.
You ask me this, I give you this. Whatever you ask me, I give it to you. I didn't waste nothing. This is, now you may come in your department and then they come, man, this man is killing me, and this and this and this. Or this woman is killing me, and this and this and this. And they will never tell you the reality of the situation. That's why many of them will not be able to call them. Because people know them, the neighbors, family know, but you said it's not correct. But yeah, it was a good thing to come, and we passed the message. We're going to go back quickly to the consequences again. Quickly.
I just wanted to mention, we know we know some persons might feel afraid to come in and and speak on, even call on the show.
Yeah.
They're safe talking to you, but they're not safe talking on the airways about their issues or asking the certain questions. But it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we are giving the communities different opportunities to come out and hear from us and see us. So we do have a calendar of different events that we're hosting throughout the month, not only in Provo, but on the other islands as well. So if it is that you happen to pass by one of these events and you want to pull us aside and you want to speak to us privately and you want a number and you want to contact us, you can do that. So on Friday, what we've been doing is it is recognized as Purple Friday. So what we do is we wear purple for those survivors of domestic violence, showing our support for them. So we encourage anyone who has purple to please wear it for those survivors of domestic violence. And we also have what we call domestic violence awareness pop-ups. So last week, yesterday, Friday gone, we was at Smart, where we was giving out information. We was giving out the pins in the brochure so that those who are doing their regular shopping can just get some information on what is happening. This Friday, we will be in North Caicos. At the DC's office, the District Commissioner's office. So if you have friends and family in North Caicos who you may know and may need our help or who want to understand a bit more of domestic violence, they can come out and hear from us because we have a lot of information to offer. And then next week, Friday, we will be by First Caribbean outside of their office. We will have our pop-up again where we'll be distributing our pins, our brochures, so that everyone who's passing by can get a bit more information on the topic. And if it is that they want to speak to one of us, they can also come and stop by. We will also be in South Caicos on the 24th to have a session to educate the community on everything related to domestic violence, how to seek help, some of the same things that we're talking about here. So if you have friends and family and loved ones in South Caicos, please tell them to come out to the sessions at the community center.
Ok, Miss Lan dit que non alors et que yo gagne pile bagay. Gen moun ki ka vle rele, gen moun ki ka pa vle rele, gen moun ki ka senti yo confortable pour parler avec, mais yo pas confortable pour parler dans l'air. Donc yo même tout, yo comprendre ça. Mais il dit que yo conseil d'activité yo mettre sous pied, il y a vendredi à yo te la ville là. Demain et pendant semaine ça yo mettez mauve pour capable la changer si là qui moun en violence domestique. Et il dit que yo un calendrier qui riche, yo parle North Caicos, yo parle l'autre vendredi y a dans la cour à CIBC Bank là, yo a pu distribuer brochures, plumes pour yo capable changer et marquer et moi et bien ça qui c'est moi contre domestique violence. Et si ou pas d'avril, mon yo carrelé dans téléphone ça yo pour Grand Talk 338 2681 et puis pour Providencial 338 2686 et puis on l'autre numéro encore pour Providencial 338 50 86. I just give the numbers, okay, if in case ou pas vle il dit pendant râler pendant bien activité yo sou yo capable râler à côté par la veille yo comme si il dans festivité de mes en nouvelle là d'abord et bien comment festivité est bien pour moi mais mes numéros pour les sous Grand Talk sous quand que ou jeune yo abiso et de recevoir violence il est dans 338 26 81 ça c'est pour Grand Talk. Pour Providencial il est dans 338 26 86. OK, alors 26 81 c'est pour Grand Talk 338 et puis 26 86 c'est pour Providencial. Ça veut dire si vous gagnez email. Tout à fait email yo tout. Email yo dans Janda. Janda c'est JENDER affaires AFFAIRS à commercial gov.tc. OK? Ça veut dire vous capable email yo. Et bien yo gagne Instagram, yo gagne Facebook. Pas de mon pour parler avec yo. All right. So I think I give the number. I was ahead. I give the number in case somebody want to call. And yes, we're gonna one up. what is the last word for this afternoon? I mean, I especially for the ladies, before we go to the, and for the families, so what is the word of encouragement?
So for me, I just want to stress the theme again. Stop the pain, break the chain. Silence hides violence, and it speaks true. The more that you live in silence with taking the abuse, the more detrimental it will be to you. It will affect you more, it will affect your family, how you interact with others, how your daily life will be. So if you can, we encourage you to speak up, seek help, not only for you, but how you want to go, not only for you, but how you would want, to see, for your children to see you living, how you would want things to be better for you and your children and your loved ones. I'm sure that they don't want to see you in situations such as this. So if you can, my advice would be to speak up.
Alors, dernier conseil du bail, c'est toujours même bail là, craser chaîne là, briser muraille là, bien silence lui-même nourrit violence domestique, ça veut dire parler, pas quelqu'un qui t'a vraiment ouais une famille, on monde qui a souffert, qui doit souffrir en silence, mais craser silence, craser chaîne là. Bien pour capable vivre plus bien dans notre société et surtout une société qui t'a dû bien vivre dans la paix, dans l'harmonie, et c'est comme ça on a fini l'émission. All right, thank you very much once again for coming. If may I ask before we go?
So my final word is, if I may, is for persons. You did mention that to a final word for the ladies, but I want to make a final word for our ladies and our gentlemen, because like our team suggests, it's time for us to speak up. And like we mentioned, a lot of men tend not to want to speak up for so many reasons, and we are encouraging our men and our women, our boys and our girls. It's time to find somebody you can confide in and to speak up. If there's no one in your immediate community, in your churches, or a counselor close by, in the schools that you can speak to or you feel comfortable, please, our doors are always open in Grand Turk. Grand Turk, you'll find our able director, Mrs. Carolyn Dickinson, who will be more than able to assist, and you can come to Provincialis, to our office as well, and you will find persons there who will be able to assist persons if you come and speak to us. We're not just here for protection orders. We also offer crisis intervention, and we offer crisis information within our department. So come, speak to us. If you're not sure about what's happening, come and speak to us. And that takes me to the second thing I want to end with, is that a lot of persons think that domestic violence is only being beat up by your partner, being beat up by a family member, being beat up by your children. But a lot of persons tend to forget that there are also this financial and the emotional, which is even worse, because when somebody beats you up, it's just like, as children, sometimes your parents beat you and say it's gonna cool, and you go back and do the same thing again. But with emotional, those are scars that hit deep to the soul, and they are so hard when people tell you after you're in a relationship for years and all of a sudden you are the worst thing, nobody wants you, they want to put you out of your home, they want to take your children. How do you mend those scars? So come, speak to us, because sometimes if you don't speak it out, you'll go crazy. And that's why we are breaking the chain, we are breaking the cycle of persons feeling like, oh, it's okay, you can do it, hurt me, and then apologize, and you go back and you do it again all over. So we want to stress that the financial, the emotional, they are just as bad. If you're not providing for a woman, even to be able to buy basic sanitary stuff, can you imagine the shame that comes with that? So we are saying there are different types. Look at them, deal with them. If you don't understand what you're going through, come speak to us. We can help you filter through the information. All right. So we just want to thank persons. Just remember the numbers were given. We are here for you. The Department of Gender Affairs is here for you.
Wow. Honnêtement, si on a parlé honnêtement après que Mounio est venu avec une attitude pour te faire message à passer, il fait le passer avec un ton vraiment accepté. Et madame a dit que, pas oublier, il y a des gens qui plus prend domestique violence dans la question battre monde, femme battre femme, garçon battre garçon, papa battre Simon. C'est pas seulement. Il dit que il y a violence émotionnelle là, violence économique là, si là lui-même la fait ravage. Et surtout messieurs qui ont déjà pas voulu paraître devant les pas abusé yo, les mesdames pas abusé yo, les pas acheter on bail yo, mesdames pas jouer yo. Il dit c'est pour nous venir devant et démontrer que ça qui est important c'est que imaginez que on est un garçon, on est un femme, on pas acheter d'odorant, on pas bail lotion pour le faire figure pour le bail. Ça et puis pour faire parler mal, ça tout chaud juste en dedans. Ben il dit tout ça c'est violence, il dit c'est pour nous craser chez nous. C'est pour nous venir devant et pas oublier que numéro de téléphone yo bail là pour nous capable encore relayer si nous avons nécessité. Bien pour Grand Talk c'est 338 26 81, pour Providencial c'est 338 26 86 yo disponible pour tant pour assister nous dans mesures capables suivant de problèmes que vous gagnez. Good talking, and I'm sweet talking too. To be honest, you should both should actually leave the job that you're doing, go on the street and just talk. People will convince. Yeah, just go leave the job now. Leave the office, go on the street, and people will convince. Thank you very much. Nice talking, very elegant. I appreciate that. And again, thank you for coming. And our door is open for any time. For you have anything you want to say, you can come up and then just do the same, and then we will accommodate you because we know exactly what the people needs and we know exactly this is why we have this radio station. And then we're not gonna stop nobody from coming. Especially this department, all the government and people like you and that try to help and people out there. So we will not stop anybody from coming. Thank you once again for coming. All right, that's it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right.
I just want to say on behalf of our director, Mrs. Carolyn Dickinson, our deputy, Mr. Matt Donald, we just want to thank you all for listening to us, for hearing what we have to say. And just remember, our doors are always open because we're trying to end the pain, break the chain, speak up.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's go. En tout cas, j'entendais là, c'est comme ça. Eh bien, mon dans le département gendarme d'affaires, t'es venu dans la radio, t'as parlé sous question violence avec la demande d'assistance dans la radio. Et alors, la demandé avec personnel radio pour venir donner cette assistance là. Et oui, ça veut dire mon t'es venu là et yo t'ai fait un bon travail et yo parlé bien, yo montré tout ça pour nous faire en nous kembe. Nous vivions dans l'autre. Merci beaucoup, restez branchés. Et tout à l'heure, nous parlons dans quelques minutes décapiter ça. Eh bien, honorable J. Saunders te dit. Restez là, allez.
Les conditions pour est-ce que c'est petit ça, oui? Est-ce que c'est vrai ou t'es guettant changé? Eh bien, ou prêt pour voyager? Est-ce que c'est vrai ou t'es aimé, bon Dieu?
Moun participal, famille, moun qui t'a joué, comment c'est. Il te font vidéo, vous me rouler là, côté il vivement des peuples là pour aller et rentrer dans le camion, pas jouer. Il y a un fait certain, premier à droit pour évoquer mon niveau. C'est ligue prérogative ça. So, et si vous avez besoin de réponse en direct, Mandel, le 26 si Dieu veut.
Oui, je suis toujours branché, je suis toujours là. Je suis toujours là. Mais maintenant, ça, je fait connaître. Qui va gagner l'élection avec même quantité de femmes qui gagné en 2021 et 2020, non 2021, mais le détail pour les
avec même appareillement. Même appareillement, n'a suivre. En autant nous-mêmes nous pas connaît ces musiciens pas parler nous n'importe ça qui là n'a pas au chant.
Et moi, je ma vie, ça, il y a pour pouvoir.
Seulement, les jouer élection, moi, m'a là, m'a pas bon résultat, même j'en ai fait déjà.
Toujours qui est numéro de téléphone, ça vous dire, numéro de téléphone, là-bas, j'aime, pour tout cas, c'est nous mettre,
merci beaucoup.
pour léguer, pour pouvoir, moi-même, de tout ça. Il y a mon pouvoir, puis il y a pour pouvoir. C'est là qu'il n'y a pas de cas pour avec ça.
Mais ok. On suit. Oui. Parce que malgré nous pas qu'on a pronostic, on commence à pronostiquer. Nous pas qu'on a pronostic. On a pour faire pronostic, peut-être considération, peut-être normalement nous forme décembre après commencer à faire projection élection. Ok.
Oui.
Merci beaucoup.
C'est un plaisir, M. Victor. Bon week-end avec nous.
Merci beaucoup. Même tout bon week-end, frère. Merci beaucoup. Bon week-end. Merci tout le monde. Nous pas besoin. Il est encore vraiment pas pour mon encore parce que j'ai épuisé. Je remercie les amis qui relèvent. Je suis un auditeur vraiment fervent. Je dis à mon dépassé de finance, c'est constant le jeune, qui ne pas attendre. Par contre, ça passe, monsieur. Est-ce que monsieur a pas. Monsieur a premier mais États-Unis. Oh, merci tout pour nous saluer monsieur Constant, qui est toujours là dans l'émission. Pardon d'Alain tout. Bon, ça, le m'badant de yo, mon petit tête fait mal parce que c'est mon qui pas j'aime pas là. Et m'badant de mon ça, mon petit j'ai inquiété. Après, l'autre monde qui connaît les yon là. Si nous parlons, nous pensons nous dans le travail. L'autre fois, tout qui a vu qui dit chef là, ça gagne là. Monsieur toujours il est tout. Battant d'eau, tout, depuis m'badant de nous, mon petit j'ai inquiété. Et l'autre monsieur tout qui toujours fait belle rallye. Besoin de prendre monsieur. Et les m'badant de mon ça, mon petit j'ai inquiété, me toujours pensé que l'autre monsieur tout qui ont l'autre 332. Moi, elle va râler tout. Parce que mon ça, depuis moi, je parle, je connais soit émission pas dans l'air. Même pas c'est dans l'air, je dis, encore. Merci tout le monde. Rendez-vous, c'est pour l'an prochaine. L'an prochaine, il est possible pour que nous roulions aussi une émission. On va faire un triage entre émissions qui est faite dans période électorale 2021. Ok? Je vais faire un triage, puis je prends voir tout candidat les deux côtés. Okay? Je prends les deux côtés. Je prends côté primaire à parler, ça a été candidat. Je prends triage, ça a été promettre. J'ai besoin de petit temps pour me faire, puis pour me mixer. Et puis, je vais parler tout dans le même monde PDM. Ça a été dit. Puis, on va regarder ça, PNP te promettre, est-ce qu'il est arrivé? Ça, PDM te promettre, est-ce qu'il est arrivé? Il n'y a pas arrivé, vous comprenez? Et puis, pour nous capable de tirer la révérence. Et puis, ça, c'est pour ça que je me dis, ça veut dire que je promets tout. Ça me dit sur l'émission Retour, que vous pouvez entendre. Son mixage, son mélange que vous pouvez faire. On est attendez comment ça payer. Alors, on va nous tout clair sur ça, hein? Tout clair sur lui. Et puis, ma première semaine après samedi, pour nous continuer l'émission yo, et live, et nous pas bien invité semaine après samedi. Et puis, semaine après samedi, nous pas bien back-to-back, honorable E.J. Saunders. Invitation pour le joindre excellent gouverneur, pour venir faire parler avec nous. Le directeur policier qui parle là, qui a congé 6 semaines, n'a pas venu pour nous inviter. Nous avons fait crime, yo, qui a monté. Mais nous dépassons le temps là. 2022, après nous sommes morts, mais nous déjà janvier 2022. Nous avons 36 mois, si nous ne pas trompé. Pendant ce temps, 2022, nous sommes à 32. Okay? Ça veut dire, record, nous janvier record, ça veut dire, l'année ça, c'est l'année qui est plus crime qui fait dans le pays. Pendant ce temps, l'année 2022, c'était l'année qui est plus crime. De 32 montées mortales. L'année ça, nous déjà à 36 mois, si bien m'abuse. Là, on peut comprendre ces questions vent insécurité, il démuse, qui est normalement demandé bien que l'Angleterre, ça peut pas l'inviter gouverneur, parce que c'est l'Angleterre qui pourrait par est-ce que vous pouvez mettre, même si la première a dit dans la conférence de la presse de détail, la première a dit qu'il n'y a pas senti bien, qu'il n'a pas senti, il n'a pas senti, bien, Angleterre répondre professionnellement par rapport à, les gens qui sont insécurité à monter, il a dit militaire besoin et premier ministre va formuler l'autre demande pour que les militaires qui débarquent. Est-ce que le mandat abouti? Est-ce que le mandat approuvé? Lundi matin, si je veux, dans merci tout le monde, bon week-end. Et puis ça c'est pour demain dimanche soir, hein? 8h du soir. Allez!
Est-ce que remplit conditions pour être pour est-ce que c'est petit